we now have a gigantic thing. It's a hugely gigantic thing. What's up, people? I'm Xogue, back on All the Mods 3. I wonder if this could be considered cheating. Not quite sure. I don't know how this should work, actually. I don't have to do anything. I mean, these guys can shoot me, but if I go high enough, they're going to follow me, but they're not going to be able to hit me. This is working even better. These guys just can't even get out. I have the vector plates on the outside. I just have to wait for these guys to spawn, hit them once, and then they all die. The question is this actually counting towards the cap? Do I die on? Ow, ow, ooh, ow, wow. Okay, it's a player trap. I wasn't sure if that meant I would die or not. I couldn't actually tell. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into this, and we're going to set a few things up. What we're going to do today is actually... I'm not sure if we're going to get to the design part of things yet, but I want to get to the functionality part of it first. And then if we have time, we'll get to the design stuff. But I did remove this generic entryway in favor of a sneaky little elevator block that is brown and perfect. And I've cleared out the entire area down here. Why? You were like all ghosty ghost. Why were you? You're like smoke colored. Why? Why is that a thing? That's weird. Anyway, so as you can see, I've I've connected all of these guys with the item cables and the power cables. They are not getting power yet. Like I told you in the last episode, we're not going to worry about actually hooking them up until we have everything else situated. Because as it stands, we have so little room in our refined storage network thing that it is just wicked crazy. Like, we don't have much room. We're 89% full. So we have the extra sized things. 256K, 1024K, 4090. You get the idea. It goes up a lot, okay? There's so much. I want to use refined storage for 100% of my storage. I don't ever want to have to limit or void anything. This is a very tall, huge task, okay? And what it means is that we should probably work on auto-crafting, not only these, but also these. If we can auto-craft up to the maximum tier thing and auto-craft our disk drive, we'll be fine. Anytime I need more room, all I got to do is click a button and wait a little while, and everything will be automatically crafted for me. And I am going to love that. It's going to be fantastic. Today, what I want to do is set up an area for 1, the machines, and 2, our storage place. Okay, there's going to be 2 different areas. This is our power network. These 3 buildings, I believe, are going to be where all of our machines lie. We have a lot of machines. Some of these setups are going to take a lot of space. So we're going to use all 3 of these buildings. And our storage area, we're just going to do something for looks, because if everything is in refined storage, we don't really need a separate storage anything, but we're going to do some stuff that actually look cooler. I don't know what we're going to do exactly, not yet. But I want to use this building for our storage network. That's where we're going to access our storage. It's going to be basically the warehouse, okay? We're going to design it as a warehouse, but really, all we're going to have is just 1 block that we access all of our stuff from. And that's just kind of how it's going to work. Whoa, these guys with super laser eyes and stuff. So what I was doing over here is I was just clearing out some of the buildings. This one's already cleared, so we don't have to worry about that guy. This one, and this one are all still haunted. So I'm going to clear them out. Possibly all of them, now that I have my new little setup here. I'm not sure how easy it is or if it's really going to work or not. But maybe a lot of these guys. And I'm going to flatten like a huge area. All right, here we go. We're testing it. I have 4 little player traps right here in the corner. These guys are just shooting each other. I got lucky with them. They're just poisoning each other. And they'll pretty much do that until I kill them, because they don't kill each other fast enough. It's just kind of crazy. I didn't see any notifications about any kind of anything. All right, so we're gonna see if I can open these chests now, even though I did not see, you know, one of those things saying that, hey, this place is safe now. I don't know. We're going to find out. It's kind of crazy. I think that is what was happening, is that... Yeah. Holy crap. That's exactly what it was. These chests could not open before. So it spawned enough of them, and those player traps do work. It just doesn't tell you when it's safe. So you just kind of have to hope that you've got it right and keep testing those chests. A lot of work has been done. I've now cleared out these buildings, and it's kind of obvious I'm going to end up taking down all the buildings we come across. Whenever we need more room, I'm just going to clear them and destroy them. Which there's an easier way, I think, to clear the buildings. It says they're haunted, but I'm almost positive now that the haunted buildings relies on the building block of the building itself. What I mean by that is that if you can remove every single block that's part of the building, it's no longer haunted. I think. I am not guaranteed. I cannot guarantee that, but that's just what it seems like. As soon as I remove the entire building, every single block, then the building is just magically not haunted anymore. So I think it's got something to do with that in the code. So if you destroy the entire building, you are free and clear, and you don't actually have to kill them. I don't know. Just a theory, though. I'm going to play with that in the future, and I'll let you know how it turns out. This right here is going to be, and it might grow in size. It's going to change. This is just to show you the concept. And the same with those buildings. There's no actual plan for what they're going to look like yet. This is just more like schematics saying, hey, this is what I want it to look like. But this is going to be like a grocery store or some kind of a little mart, right? Like a gas station store almost. And this is just what it's going to look like, okay? This is basically where our survivors are going to be storing their stuff. This is their warehouse, which is why I think it needs to be a lot bigger for obvious reasons. We're going to have one block to interact with. We're going to have this guy right here. We're going to go into this guy, and we're going to be good to go. 92%. We're getting close, guys. We're just going to interact with this stuff, take out what we want, and then we're going to be done. So we have that one block. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pretend that this is that one block, right? This is our interface right now. I'm going to have the interface right on top. And then I'm actually going to have, we're going to say that this is our disk drives. So we're going to have our disk drives and our interface sitting right there on the table, basically on the table. And that way we can plug a cable right into the bottom of this guy to hook it into our disk drive. And that way the whole set right here is actually connected to the network how it needs to be connected. And everything's hidden. All the cables are just gone and hidden and everything. And this is just going to be mimicking our cash register. And as far as everything else, it's just going to be decorative. I'm going to make it look like this is where the survivors are storing their stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I have no idea how that's actually going to be a thing, but we're going to try. We're going to see what we can come up with. I got so tired of all the mobs, so I was looking out and trying to find what we can use to prevent mob spawns. And these are the powered lanterns from immersive engineering. Yeah, this stuff here, it should now be spawn proof, which is really, 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 really good. I've also reorganized the crops. Now, I did organize them because I was thinking about it in a group of survivors. They would certainly organize their crops. I mean, they just would. If you needed a certain type of something, you have to know exactly where to go to get it. You're not going to mix them all around. There's no reason to do that. It's pointless. It might look cooler in my mind, but this actually doesn't look bad. That's okay. Over here, this is where we're going to have two buildings. This is an idea my buddy gave me because I frequently go to my friends who are around me and I'm like, hey, I need an idea. Even the 11-year-old who's in here, kids have a greater imagination than most of us adults do. So I'm like, hey, this is my scenario. This is my setup. And I'm looking for an idea to do this. And yeah, a couple times he'll give some pretty good ideas and I'll use them. But anyway, so this is something my buddy, actually grown-up buddy, gave me an idea for, and it's really, really cool, I think. But basically, we have a couple different actions, right? We're going to import materials. All of our raw materials are going to go into one building. And then we're going to pipe them out using, like, probably conveyor belts, if I can make it work. Just maybe, conveyor belt from Cyclic. I'll have to check these out, see how well they work. But I was actually thinking, and he suggested that we actually do the immersive engineering ones, because I think they actually stick to the belt too, which is pretty cool. But basically, we're going to pump them into the next building using conveyor belts. And this pipe is actually going to be off the ground. And it's going to be like somewhere around this general vicinity, I think. And we're just going to have that here. Now, obviously, we're going to have a huge amount of items. We won't be able to do it with all of them, but I should be able to come up with some kind of a system, some kind of a setup, so that only some of the items gets pumped out onto that conveyor belt and shipped across. And just so we get the appearance that my items are going from one building through another through those means. And everything else will just be piped through with, you know, conduits or whatever and stuff. You get the idea. And there's a big thing I would really love to get to today if I can. I want to be able to autocraft the storage drives. Not just these. I want the max tier storage drive. I want to do some autocrafting with refined storage. We're going to see how far we can get into that. And we're going to dump all of this. We're going to dump all of this stuff back in. All right, so things have been a little bit organized, moved around. Stuff is pretty much where I said it was. There is a cable underneath here. This guy's going down and underneath. It comes up right here, which is connected to this guy. So basically, everything is connected just fine. But what I'm working on now is actually this guy is cooking up a whole bunch of these, which are improved processors. The game had a little bit of a freeze there. It happens so often. But what I want to do now is, like I said, I wanted to do some autocrafting, okay? I got everything set up pretty much. I mean, it's not like it's spectacular. It's not fantastic, but it is functional. If we need anything over here, we can get it. And what I know about these guys is that these blocks right here allow you to hold a huge amount of patterns. Okay, simple enough. Awesome, thank you. This guy increases the speed. The more you have to have at least one, but if you have more than one, it increases the speed. So more patterns, more speed, and this is just, it's a multi-block structure, so you have to have other blocks around it. And here is the monstrosity, maybe, possibly. It appears as though, and I didn't know this, like I said, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I've never actually done this before, but it's saying -872, -1297, 74. That is actually the block I'm standing on right now. Unless I got it wrong, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so basically that's just the first block it checked. The first air block it checked when it failed. It would have gotten caught on all the other ones too, I suspect. So I have to make sure there is no air blocks in this thing. So what I have, let me actually show you. Basically, I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 crafting CPUs, and I have 11 storages. Hopefully this is enough to support us forever. Yeah, we have 11 pages of recipe or patterns now. So we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I never did actually explain. This guy right here is kind of going to be like the freezer. Like, obviously it's not a freezer, you know, you can't open it and go inside, but it almost looks like it'd be some kind of an industrial thing. Right? So maybe it's a freezer, maybe it's a gigantic oven, maybe it's a something. I don't know. But something that would be in the back of a convenience store, I guess, is basically what this guy is. And I thought it would kind of fit in pretty well. I was going to put it underneath with some elevators. I was going to stick it in the floor so you could only see the top, and I could just kind of, we'd be walking on the top of it. But I figured that'd look a little weird. But it would have worked anyway. Anyway, so in order to get these guys right here, you have the 256, the 1024, and the 4096, and the 16384. Sure, that's a lot. That's a huge amount. And then you have the fluid. So this is the highest one. In order to get this, you need one of those, which means you need 3 of those, which means you need 3 of those. You guys get the idea. We need to put all of these crafting recipes into a pattern. So I can now put this in a pattern. I can drop this in here, and I can request those. But we're going to keep going. So these are all the patterns that we need, all the way up to the maximum level storage disk, which is going to be really, 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 really nice. But now I have to teach it how to get certain things inside of this, such as the processors that it's going to need. So we need to teach it that, which is going to be a little bit more of a process. So the way this works is that these crafters, if they stand alone like this one is, then it's a regular crafting table. But this dot here is the important face. If that dot is facing into a machine, then you'll actually see the name of the machine here rather than the regular crafter. So that tells you that it is configured to use the machine that's in front of it rather than itself as a crafting table. So what I want to try to do now is actually to try and request some storage things here. Can I do one of these? It's got to process everything. Do I have enough of everything? Is there anything here that is... Okay, we're missing... Wow, we're missing so much silicon. I need to teach it how to get silicon. I need to teach it... Okay, so we're missing a lot of gold, but I can get that pretty easily. The redstone I can get pretty easily. The iron I can get... That's a lot of iron. I don't know if I can get that easily or not. Glass, I need to change that actually. There shouldn't be that much glass needed. I think what it was is that one of the patterns in there, I didn't click the ore dictionary because we have a lot of glass. We have way more than that much glass. And silicon is there. After we get this stuff, we should be able to get this stuff. I think there's a pattern in there. So I have a little bit of maintenance to do in here, but it looks like we have a lot of everything else. It is really not going to matter too much, I don't believe. I think we're pretty close, guys. We can almost autocraft this daggone thing. Things have progressed. It doesn't really look like it, but they have. Let's see. Did I add anything in here? Nothing much. Nothing extreme. We did add some of these. A 1 block of redstone equals 9. 9 essence. Since we have the crops, it gives us 16 redstone. I did add the ores in here with both the essence and the block, or the nuggets rather. I didn't do the block apparently. Might need to add that one in too. But the same for the gold with the nuggets and the essence. But I don't have them in here because a weird thing happens. Okay, so if we go here, I'm going to show you something real quick. We are very, very close. So very close to getting one of the maximum level storage things. Right now, we only need the glass. So what I did is I added in a few recipes, as you can see here, for the iron. With the, I put in the redstone, the iron, and the gold here. I also put in one for the nether quartz. Also the nether quartz ore, blah-de-de-blah. But the thing is, if I were to add the other ones, these guys down here in this chest, if I were to add these into here, it kind of glitches out a lot. If we go storage, I don't know why it does this. But if we go down, it doesn't even try to grind up my ores. They're not in here anywhere. It's just saying I need a lot more essence. So it's not seeing those recipes if these recipes are in here. So the glass is actually my biggest problem right now. That I need like 3,000 of it or something, right? Yeah, 3150. Now it turns out I actually do not have that much glass in my system. I thought I had so much more. I thought I was collecting all the glass from everywhere. And I am. I just apparently haven't torn down as many buildings as I thought I have. I mean, that entire island, this whole area here, I guess I haven't really torn down anything from other buildings. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and basically harvest the windows from all of these places. But I'm going to stick to the ones that don't have panes right here. The panes are not what I want. I want the full windows like these guys right here, because that way I don't have to worry about smelting them later. What I'm doing now down here is actually using the Tinker setup down here to smelt up all of the panes that I've gotten, which is going to give us a lot of glass. I mean, these things are still going. Like, this is just chock full. This thing's here. And we're smelting up, like, I've already pulled out like 5 stacks of glass from this thing. It's going to be a lot. But it's also going to be very, very slow. So I don't want to wait for it. I'm going to go harvest what I need to harvest myself. And hopefully I can get, I don't know, 3,000 is a lot, guys. That's a lot of glass. You know, it really didn't take all that long. If we take a look at this, we needed what, like 3,500 glass or something, right? 3,100, something like that. But we don't need anything anymore. We're now good to go. We have everything we need to craft this thing. It does not mean it's going to happen very fast, but that's why we have this guy. We can keep an eye on exactly what processes are happening, and we can even fly around. I've been having a lot of lag spikes here too. Holy crap, it's getting really, really, really bad. But yeah, we can always fly around and just see what machines are up and which ones are being used. I tried to speed them up as much as I could. This is one of the, I don't know, this guy's just wicked. It's one of the capacitors you find in the world. This one's actatic. I didn't have one better than that I found, at least not yet. But yeah, I might as well get it started, right? Because it's going to take a very long time to craft this thing, like a huge amount of time. We need thousands of some of these materials. Well, I've been doing a lot of stuff, one of which is to craft the wireless crafting monitor, just so I can kind of keep an eye on things while I'm doing other stuff. And it has been, when did we start? 4 hours. I think it's been 4 hours, and this thing is not done yet. Now, it has done all of the iron, all of the gold, and all of the quartz. As in creating the quartz from this guy, from all of the ore that we put in, but it's not done smelting all the quartz. That's where it's at now. Once it's done smelting all the quartz, it still needs to make all of the processors, and then it's the crafting operation. So probably another hour, 2 hours maybe, and that's just a rough guesstimate. I really don't know for sure. We had a small/big problem. I don't know what it was exactly, but something within the crafting process and the crafting monitor process, I'll get to why that's different in a minute, it was crashing the game. It was bringing me back to the title screen. I updated to a beta build, which is usually not the best idea, but I do have a backup of the world, and I'll try to keep a steady one if I can remember to do so. As you see, my solderers are gone. We don't have all the extreme crafters or anything like that, and that's because Refined Storage went through a huge update. The whole auto crafting process was rewritten, and now you can see that this is a lot more reliable. Like, you can see exactly what's going on. They did a very good job with this. Granted, they modeled it almost exactly after Applied Energistics, I think. But I think they might have a little bit more information. Like this stuff down here is usually not something you see. It was 4 hours. This is the next day. It was 4 hours last night. I couldn't even wait up to let it finish. I had to go to bed. Then I woke up and went to work. Then I came home from work and I loaded the game and did a whole bunch of upgrading. So now I finally get to play. I finally get to record. In total, I think it's probably been ballpark of 5.5 to 6 hours of auto crafting. And this thing is still not done yet. And to replace the solderers, we have a cutting tool. So basically, you have to cut silicon to get this guy. Then you craft that with a cutting tool, the iron, and the redstone that you would normally use. So it's the same recipe, same raw resources you need. And then you get this guy. Now, you don't need another silicon because this guy just goes directly into some kind of a smelter in order to get the processor itself. And it's the same for the other guys, just with obviously a diamond or a piece of gold. So I don't know, it's a little bit weird, a little bit different. But hey, it removed a bunch of machines that I needed. So after the change, I'm happy that it happened. Before the change, it was like, oh crap. It's crafting everything here. You can see it's kind of, it says crafting 9, crafting 6, crafting whatever. Which means it's almost done. There's only a few more here. It's about to finish up here. Here it goes. Yes! I think that means it's finished. I think that means it's done. It's done its thing. Storage. Oh, yes. We now have a gigantic thing. It's a hugely gigantic thing. So if I shift click, what's going to happen? Is it storing? Yeah. See, it's dumping everything into the system right now. So I can actually do a couple of these. There's the two 16Ks and a 64K. And it should be dumping, oh, I guess it goes one at a time. And after the first one's done, and it should be going directly back into our system. Here it goes. Yeah, look at that. There it goes. It is gaining items now because of our disk manipulator. Stack upgrades. Yep. That works so much better. Granted, 64K is still going to take a while, but it's so much faster. Finally good to go. Only 3% full. All of our discs are now gone. If we take a look, there's a cool little thing you can do with these guys. Basically, if you have a full storage, what do you call it, disk, the whole disk, you know, we had our 64Ks and our 16Ks. You can hold it in your hand, shift right click, and it will actually separate them. And you'll get one housing, and you'll get one of the storage parts, so you can rip them apart. So what you can do with those is you can use these to craft larger ones later, and then combine that larger one back with the housing that you separated it from in the first place to create a new expanded larger storage disk, which is kind of a cool little thing. But there's a game that I absolutely love. I've actually played it on my channel, although it didn't really do all that well, but I didn't really care because it's a fantastic game and I know a lot of people love it. It's Portal. I love Portal. We're going to try to make this guy real quick. Also, I don't think I pointed out, but I have gone backwards with this stuff. This is how I deposit items into my system. This is how I craft stuff, because these guys are technically not linked. We don't have the infinite wireless anymore. If we take a look at the wireless, we do have the basic wireless right here, this guy with the range expanders, but we can't make it infinite. I could go into the config and make it like an astronomically large number, but I don't know, it just feels cheaty to me. Okay, random channel, which is actually really, really, really good because we have the full grab strength, tile entities and very large entities, a random channel. Now, the reason I'm saying that's good is because we can get a second one, okay? And what that means is that the colors will be different. If we have a different channel, the colors will be different. In other words, we can have multiple sets of portals, which I really like the idea of. For example, we can go like this, and then I can go maybe on the edge of here, like that. So if we want to go over to our island, we can just leave this and have this sitting on a wall. Can we put P this? Yeah, right on the wall, and we can go right through it. And now we're all the way over here, just perfectly like that. And be like, oh, time to go home, bloop, and now we're back. And so if we ever need to change it, we know that these portals are linked to this portal gun. And I can just make a new portal gun for a different linkage. And we can go, I don't know how far away we can go, but we do got to do some testing with this. For example, we could do a lot of exploration and be like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I need to take a different direction. I can land on the ground, lay a portal, go back home, do what I got to do, drop off supplies, collect supplies, craft something, do this, do that, do this, do that, and then be like, okay, well, I need to go back, and we can continue exploring. The portal guns are unbelievably useful, and a lot of people overlook them. They don't think about them, but they are so amazingly fantastic. I love these things. But anyway, I think I've spent a lot of time on this episode. I'm pretty sure I'm way over time. Hopefully, I've been able to chop it down to size for you. I know you guys kind of like the cuts, actually. A lot of people say they don't, but based on viewage and likeage, you guys really like the cuts in there to make sure I chop out all the talkie-talkie. Like this part right here, it might be chopped out. Anyway, if you like the video, please do hit that like button and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Do what you do, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, peeps. And these guys really need to start getting some houses. We're going to have to take a look at that in the future. Do some housework.